Hi guys, welcome back. Today we are going to learn about indices. We've got 4 success criteria, and the first one is to evaluate indices and roots for positive numbers. So index, the index of a number is written as a small number to the right and above of the base number. The plural of index is indices, and they're more commonly known as powers. So here you've got 2 to the power of 5. The 5 is known as the index number or the indice, and the 2 is known as the base number. So here you've got a little 2 means squared, power of 3 means cubed, this symbol means the square root, and this symbol is the cube root. The term evaluate just means work out, so we want to work out 2 to the power of 3. This means 2 times by itself 3 times. So 2 times 2 times 2. Now 2 times 2 is 4, and times by 2 again would be 8. So the answer is 8. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So 5 to the power of 3 means we do 5 times by 5 times by 5 times by itself 3 times. 5 times 5 is 25, and times by 5 again is 125. If you want to do the square root of 25, this means what number times by itself makes 25. So the answer is 5, because 5 times 5 is 25. But is this the only answer? Well, another answer is minus 5, because minus 5 times minus 5 is also 25, because when you times two negatives together, they make a positive. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So you want the square root of 81. So what number times by itself makes 81? Well, the answer is 9, because 9 times 9 is 81. Or minus 9, because minus 9 times minus 9 is also 81. This means the cube root. So we want the cube root of 8. So in other words, what number, when you times it by itself 3 times, gives 8? Well, the answer is 2, because 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. It can't be minus 2 this time, because minus 2 times minus 2 is positive 4, but if we times by minus 2 again, that becomes minus 8. So we can't have a negative answer here. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So here we want the cube root of 27, and the answer is 3, because 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. This time we want 2 to the power of 5. So when the index isn't 2 or 3, we need to say to the power of, so that's why we say 2 to the power of 5. And this means 2 multiplied by itself 5 times. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, times by 2 again is 8, times by 2 again is 16, and times by 2 for a 5th time would be 32. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So we need to do 3 to the power of 4, which means we do 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9, times by 3 again is 27, times by 3 again is 81. So that's our answer. Here we want to do the 4th root of 256. So this means what number times by itself 4 times makes 256. Now you're not expected to know this off the top of your head, but you are expected to be able to work it out. And we do this by trying out possibilities starting at 1. So 1 times by itself 4 times is just 1. 2 times by itself 4 times is 16. 3 times by itself 4 times is 81. And 4 times by itself 4 times is 256. So the answer is 4. In this case, the answer can also be minus 4, because you times them by itself 4 times, which means it'll come back to a positive number. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So here we want the 5th root of 243. So if we try out some possibilities, so 1 times by itself 5 times is just 1. 2 times by itself 5 times is 32. 3 times by itself 5 times is 243. So that's our answer, 3. Two key points are these. Anything to the power of 1 is that number itself. So 2 to the power of 1 is 2, 5 to the power of 1 is 5, and 7 million to the power of 1 is still 7 million. Anything to the power of 0 is always 1. So 5 to the power of 0 is 1. 20 to the power of 0 is 1. 7 million to the power of 0 is 1. Here's some questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. So there's your green answers, your amber answers, and your red answers. So now we've completed success criteria 1, so now we're going to move on to number 2, and this is to evaluate indices and roots for negative numbers. So if we want to work out minus 5 squared, now remember squared means times by itself, so we do minus 5 times minus 5. When we multiply two negative numbers together, they make a positive answer. So our answer is positive 25. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So this means minus 5 times by itself 3 times. So minus 5 times minus 5 is 25. If we times by minus 5 again, it goes back to being a negative. So it's minus 125. In this question, we want to do the square root of minus 4. Now this is actually not possible. You can never square root a negative number, because no number times by itself will give a negative answer. So if you get a question like this, it's not possible. However, we can cube root a negative number. The cube root of minus 8 would be minus 2, because minus 2 times minus 2 times minus 2 would give us a negative 8 answer. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So here we want to do the fifth root of minus 32. So the answer is minus 2. Because minus 2 times by itself 5 times would make minus 32. Here's some questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your answers, press play. Here are your answers. So there's your green answers, there's your amber answers, there's your red answers, and there's your purple answers. Your green answers made witch, your amber answers made ghoul, the red answers made Frankenstein, and the purple answers made skeleton. And now we've completed success criteria 2. So now we're going to move on to number 3, and this is to understand how to use a calculator for indices and roots. So, being able to use a calculator. So how do we type 3 to the power of 5 on a calculator? So we start by typing 3, and then we press this button. This is our indices button. And then we can press 5. If we press equals, we should get 243. So always press the right arrow after using the power button. If we want to do the fourth root of 16, so we press shift and then the power button, and we press 4, so we use the arrows to go inside the root, and then we type in 16, and we press equals, and we should get the answer 2. Now remember, the answer can be minus 2 as well, but the calculator will only show you the positive answer. Here's some questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. There's your green answers, there's your amber answers, and there's your red answers. And now we've completed success criteria 3. So now we're going to move on to number 4, and this is to apply to problem solving questions. So you can be asked some more challenging questions about powers or roots, and we're going to look at 3 different types. So the first one is finding roots of fractions. So if we want to express the root of 49 over 25 as a single fraction in its simplest form, so we square root the numerator and we square root the denominator. So we square root 49 and we square root 25. Square root of 49 is 7 and the square root of 25 is 5. So our answer is 7 over 5. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Pause the video. When you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So for this question, if we do the square root of 36 and the square root of 81, square root of 36 is 6 and the square root of 81 is 9, and then we can just simplify that fraction by dividing both numbers by 3. So we get 2 over 3 as our final answer. In this question, we want to do the square root of 12 1/4. So to be able to do this, we need to convert 12 1/4 into an improper fraction first. So that would be 49 over 4. So we square root 49 and we square root 4. So that's 7 over 2. Again, in this question, we need to convert it into an improper fraction first. So 2 7/9 becomes 25 over 9. So we square root 25 and we square root 9. And we get 5 over 3. Here are some questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. So there's your green answers, your amber answers, your red answers, and your purple answers. So now we're going to have a look at estimating roots. So if we want to estimate the square root of 50 to one decimal place, we think of the square number that's below 50, so that's 49, and the square number above 50. Now it's 1 away from 49, and it's 14 away from 64. So it's going to be closer to the square root of 49 than it is to the square root of 64. The square root of 49 is 7, and the square root of 64 is 8. So the square root of 50 is going to be closer to 7 than it is to 8. So it's going to be approximately 7.1. Here's one for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So for the square root of 32, first of all write down the square number below 32, so that's 25, and the square number above 32, so that's 36. It's 7 away from 25, and 4 away from 36, so it's going to be closer to the square root of 36 than it is to the square root of 25, but not by much. The square root of 25 is 5, and the square root of 36 is 6, so our answer's got to be closer to 6 than it is to 5. So I've said it's approximately 5.7, or you could say 5.6. Here's some questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. So there's your green answers, your amber answers, and your red answers. Now we're going to have a look at expressing as a single power. So we want to write as a single power of 2, 2 to the power of 3 times 2 to the power of 2. Now 2 to the power of 3 is 8, and 2 to the power of 2 is 4. So if we times those together, it's 32. And 32 is 2 to the power of 5. So what do we notice about the powers and our final answer? Well, 2 to the power of 3 times 2 to the power of 2 we've shown is 2 to the power of 5. So when we add the indices, it makes our answer. This time we're going to divide. So 2 to the power of 5 divided by 2 to the power of 2. 2 to the power of 5 is 32, and 2 to the power of 2 is 4. So if we divide those, we get the answer 8, and 8 is 2 to the power of 3. So what do we notice this time? Well, if we subtract our powers, we get our answer. So 5 take away 2 is 3. So the answer is 2 to the power of 3. So when we divide, we need to subtract the powers. Again, we want to write this as a single power of 2. So 2 to the power of 7 times 2 to the power of 5 is 2 to the power of 12. Remember, just add the powers together. And then this means divided by 2 to the power of 4. So when we divide, we subtract the powers. So 12 take away 4 is 8. So our final answer is 2 to the power of 8. In this question, we want to write 2 to the power of 2 to the power of 3. So 2 to the power of 2 is 4, and 4 to the power of 3 would be 64. So 2 to the power of 2 to the power of 3 is 64, and 64 is 2 to the power of 6. So here we've simply multiplied the powers together. We've multiplied the power of 2 and the power of 3 together to get 6. So in this question, we want to write as a single power of 2. Now 2 to the power of 3 can stay the same. 4 is 2 to the power of 2, and 8 is 2 to the power of 3. So 8 squared can be 2 to the power of 3 squared. Now 2 to the power of 3 squared can be written as 2 to the power of 6 because we multiply the indices together. And then because we're multiplying all of these and the base numbers are all 2, we can add all the indices together. So 3 plus 2 plus 6, which is 11. So the final answer is 2 to the power of 11. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to see what you should have done, press play. So we want to write our answer as a single power of 3. So we need to make all the base numbers 3. So 3 to the power of 5 can stay as it is. 9 is 3 to the power of 2. And 27 is 3 to the power of 3. So 27 to the power of 3 is going to be 3 to the power of 3 to the power of 3. Now 3 to the power of 3 to the power of 3, when we multiply the indices, that would be 3 to the power of 9. And then we're doing 3 to the power of 5 times 3 to the power of 2. So we add those indices together. But then we're dividing by 3 to the power of 9. So then we take away 9. So 5 plus 2 is 7. And take away 9 would be minus 2. So the answer is 3 to the power of minus 2. Here's some questions for you to have a go at. Pause the video, and when you're ready to mark your work, press play. Here are your answers. So there's your green answers, your amber answers, your red answers, and your purple answers. Now we've completed success criteria 4. So now we've completed the last objective, it's time to end the video. Hope you enjoyed it and hope you found it useful. Make sure to like and subscribe and be sure to check out the videos on the rest of the channel. I'll see you next time. See ya.